Yep. Now we're recording.
So just to recap what we just said, the pull request is up for reversing the data flow between the kubelet and the cloud when using a cloud provider. Any comments there that I missed, maybe? Or
we want more people to look at it before we know if we can merge it or not. That's one of the concerns that Jordan legit raised.
yeah, I'll take a look later today and see.
Thanks.
What other things do we have for beta?
We have the volume external cloud plugin flag by Walter, and other than that, Jago was mentioning the whole test matrix thing. I don't know if we want it for beta or like what the plan for that is.
It's definitely needed for beta.
So
part of the contract with beta is that we have automatically running either tests.
Yes. So we need to talk about that.
Good time to talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, so at the community meeting, Lucas and I both mentioned that this is out there and coming, and verbally solicited some additional cloud providers to participate in that process. I think we need to get a little more formal about the goals, the document, give some more guidance on how a cloud provider could participate. So describe somewhat more of the strategy and direction. And once we have that, I think we can reach out directly in SIG meetings, for example, for AWS and Azure at least. I think those would be super important to get involved early on, just so that there are no surprises later on. And I think we need to get somewhat more formal about the timeline, like the goals for our timeline in making the external cloud provider both supported and deprecating the in-tree cloud provider code, and at least put forth a proposed timeline on that side. So it's a little tricky on the timing. Next week, I will be here on Wednesday. Will other folks be around on Wednesday? I know some folks travel during Thanksgiving week. But I can put together some rough notes for next week, and maybe we can get some feedback offline and hope for a week or 2 weeks after that to have a proposal together for a timeline and a project plan in general. Walter and I both talked to a guy named Ken Owens, who's in SIG Apps here, who may be able to add some support from the controller perspective, and how do we manage the project to a GA status, as they've just done in SIG Apps for the core controllers. So may bring him in on this as well. And I also wanted to propose having at least a time that we all get together during KubeCon. If folks are around, there might be a good opportunity to reach out to other cloud provider folks who would be interested in participating.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Great. On our side, I think a lot of the work in updating test grid to support the behavior we've talked about in the past falls to SIG testing, and our internal group at Google is engprod. So I did talk to some folks on our side, Eric Feda, and folks that he works with here at Google. So hopefully when we have a rough draft of what we're looking to accomplish, we can get some participation from those folks to support it. So that's about as far as I've put effort in is just having some one-to-one meetings with folks in those areas.
Yeah, I would love to get someone from AWS or Azure to set up EDU tests, and I'm happy to mentor. Cole, do you know about Azure?
Yeah. Excuse me, I was just going to chime in. There's actually a pull request open for ACS Engine where they've already integrated in CCM and have it launching and running and working successfully. I just saw this morning, though, that there's apparently a huge rebase. I think they rewrote a bunch of stuff, so they'll have to rebase that and get it in. But it looks like it will be in there. The question of testing is a fairly separate question. I don't know the answer to it. From the CoreOS side, there's possibility that we might be able to scrounge up some testing. I actually have a kind of a work in progress PR adding in CCM support for Bootkube in the way that it's used in Tectonic Installer. So if Azure is not willing to pony up and do that directly, I can circle back around and see if we have some time or resources to dedicate to it.
That would be great. And Tectonic for both AWS or Azure or either.
So sorry, you're saying for CoreOS or for Tectonic?
Yeah. So from your side, what is your interest in Azure or
I was going to say,
AWS?
I personally would be willing to dedicate some extra cycles to Azure. I'm less familiar with the other ones, and so would be less interested in volunteering for those, to be honest.
I could actually, when thinking about it, I do have some. I may be able to set up something for GCE continuously running. I have no direct connections to AWS, or I didn't have any success in convincing the people I know from there. At least not this first time. Anyone here that could help with AWS testing that we know about?
I think we should just push forward with what is the path of least resistance initially, and then once there is a more well-blazed path, I think the resistance will sort of fall away. My hope, my expectation is that all cloud providers will see the benefits of being able to iterate on their own cloud-specific software without waiting for open source Kubernetes to come along. There are, critical security patches, and being able to deploy those quickly is something that just any responsible cloud provider is going to need that ability to do that. And it's quite challenging to do in the way it currently exists. So I don't think we need to worry about staffing on behalf of others or kind of bludgeoning anyone along. I think the benefits are compelling enough as they are, but it is not easy and clear to do today. So I think we should just move forward with the coalition of the willing, and then when it becomes easier, it shouldn't be too hard to get people to invest some time.
Okay, then I'll set up automatically running EDU tests for the CCM on GCE, as I do have access to that. Probably, hopefully for next week, but we'll see. And along with that, maybe just write down a short doc of the procedure I'm using.
Yeah, and I think it would be worth getting, once we have 2 or 3 cloud providers posting to the same test grid dashboard, it would be worth just doing a quick demo at the community meeting and getting awareness. Just again, to get it on the roadmap for other folks who have longer timelines to plan. So,
cool.
Thanks, Lucas. That sounds great.
Anything
Okay. And
else?
then the one outstanding piece in all of this is still the volume aspect, right? And I think I saw some movement on the CSI project is making progress as well. Does anyone know more directly what the update on that is on the timeline? Because I think that'll feed into the timeline for this project as well.
Well, I mean, last time I heard about it, 1.9 alpha.
1.9 alpha.
Maybe.
That's what I heard as well.
Yeah, but then beta it could be even 1.12,
Yeah.
1.11.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's gonna take some time, but this also takes a lot of time because we're doing things async with, and kind of depending on cloud providers stepping up and doing things. So
yeah, and my starting point is that we should have a GA storage or volume solution for cloud providers when we intend to make this the only path. Does that line up with what you guys are thinking as well? I have a hard time compelling in-tree cloud providers to move out to a solution that's alpha or beta even.
yeah, exactly.
Seems like a hard sell.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I'm not sure if we even can like at all break things out completely, because this is Kubernetes 1, right? And we, while being on the Kubernetes 1 series, we promise that this functionality works.
Yep.
So yeah, that's that
good point. I guess we can make it add additional support and make the compelling, you get to iterate at your own velocity kind of benefits well known and understood. And take it.
Yeah. So basically it's the next steps for, like, let's take GC as an example. The next steps would be create a GCE repo somewhere with the cloud provider that's authoritative, and design a CSI volume plugin for that.
Yep.
Then post automatically either results. But still, it's going to be hard to migrate, right? So do we have any migration plan, like from GCE persistent disks to the CSI thing? And
well, my understanding
like
is the idea behind the CSI is just we keep running the existing GCE persistent disk code, but we run it in a sidecar. Right, and the CSI is just implementing the sidecar mechanism.
okay, so I haven't caught up on how the, like, Kubernetes user is gonna, how the syntax is gonna change, because right now we just have a lot of pointers with structs inside of the volumes array. So, and their GC persistent disk is hard code as well as like AWS, EBS things. And
so what one thought had been, in fact, at some point we just make GCE persistent disk look like a wrapper around CSI, so things just continue working, but it now is actually plumbed with the CSI code.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great to me.
But we're not dependent on that aspect of it for this phase, right? We can essentially move the code that you've already refactored into the cloud, the CCM, out into a different repo, and use that, which refers back to the in-tree volumes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll move ahead with that, and we can be posting back to the GCS, the JSON files back to GCS, and expose those through test grid UI. And work with the SIG testing and test infra folks on alerting and how to sign up for those. So I think there's still a lot to do on that side without worrying about the CSI aspect of it.
Yeah. So about the volume plugin PR that you had, Walter, is I might have missed it, but is it LGATM'd or merged, or what's the status?
so there's no PR right now, right? The volume plugin stuff right now is just a proposal, and no code has been written, that just because we're waiting on the CSI getting, to beta. That had been sort of, we had thought we'd wait that. We can certainly, there's a proposal to do it sooner if we need to, but it seemed like we weren't quite ready to, we hadn't finished everything except plugin. And I thought the plan of record was to finish everything but plugin and then start attacking the plugin, sorry, not plugin, volume, attacking the volume problem.
Oh, yeah. So that was what I meant. So everything, do we have a clear path forward for everything besides volume plugins?
I think we do, yeah. There's, right now I'm dealing with a small set of side issues, but I have a clear track of getting Google accept volumes off of the case, having a fully running CCM that does everything but volumes. And the plan went out. I think I sent it to the working group. Sid seemed on board, Tim Hawkins on board. So I think at this point, we've got a very clear plan of what we're doing.
Okay, so then we just have to make sure this PR with the refactoring you're writing is going to make code freeze that is in 1 week.
Sorry, which one did you want to get done in 1 week?
So the thing that extracts, reorders the other plugins than volumes, so that we can run everything besides volumes in the CCM.
Yeah, okay. I will see if I can get that done in time. It's going to be a busy week, but I will do what I can to get that done.
Okay. I mean, at least I would consider that a prereq for beta. And of course, I mean, we'll see what happens, and if it's even realistic, I don't know. I haven't seen the exact code there. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think doing the right thing is more important than doing it quickly, especially in this case. So I think if it feels done and it gets in, then great. And if it takes some more time, then we started putting time in it earlier than we had planned to initially. So we're still kind of ahead of our first pass at a timeline. So.
Okay. Sounds good to me. I'll try to set up some tests on GC.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody. Sorry for the delay getting started. I'll check on the Zoom stuff.
Thank you.
Cool.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.